Hatred, dear one, is not of strangers. You may just treat strangers with contempt and as a resource, but it's not hatred. Hatred of those that you felt should be near to you and have let you down. And they're in your great debt. That's what fuels hatred. You know, if the US simply pulls out of the Iranian war, even though in a sense it feels it started it, by going in there and sorting this regime out that's interfering with shipping. If the US simply pulled out, I think Iran would continue its war against its neighbours, unchecked by the US. Does that mean the US have to stay as a sort of police force and, as the internet seems to imply, that you just carry on a low-key war indefinitely? It drags on like Afghanistan did and so on, you know. There's never really a solution. You just hope with the passage of time. It's like the British disunited kingdom. Ireland eventually just, well, even its history does fade in the end. And it's not that the Irish and the English are united, they just are settled as being separate countries. Yeah, it's slow and tedious, and it's the passage of time. It occurs to me you could just let the Strait of whatever it's called, Hormuz, is it? I can't pronounce the word. You could just leave Iran to control it and use the expensive alternatives that would develop quite quickly, and you could manage without using that strait. You could take the oil round the long way. You could diversify into other substitutes and other substitute supplies and simply not use it. You could do. I think the regime there might then still be a great problem, especially in its own neighbourhood. It looks like the Saudis are in a competition to control the region. And perhaps, like the fear of communism had, this particular brand of Islamic rulership might start to spread, like it did into Vietnam, the whole of it, and so on and so forth. As from a communist point of view there, of course. Yes, it might be to do that. Would the rest of the world carry on anyway? I think it could. It has done in the communist capitalist divide sense. And yes, perhaps the strength of Iran then makes a stronger partner with China, although China's not come to its rescue in its distress. And perhaps Russia and so on. But perhaps they don't really love each other, these groups. Yeah. It's unknown, isn't it? But if we just treated it like a world disaster, you know, there's been a tidal wave or, you know, disaster or a volcanic disaster. And you just say, well, that's the way it is. What do we do now in the circumstance? We don't use those waters, okay? We could just walk away. Not sure as we want the cost of walking away. The cost of staying may be pretty messy and pretty costly. But it might nonetheless be the way ahead. Do we learn our lesson from such? I'm not sure what the lesson is. It's just living, isn't it? In a world of good and bad, contrast, ongoing uncertainties and difficulties and ignorances. It's the nature of this world. And from a spiritual point of view, I seek an acceptance of such. I've not come to change the world. I've come to learn from it. For my focus is not actually on this world. The life here is very short. 100 years passes just like that. And you're left with whatever's after. And in uncertainty you might want to make whatever's after hopefully good. You might not. You might abandon such concern until the last minute and then despair at dying because you seem to be losing all that you felt at the time you didn't really have. Very sad. Not the way to go, dear one. I commend the Jesus story to you, especially Jon 17. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.